So here we have a Lasko 3700 Ultra Force box fan that did come with its original box. It also came with the instructions. It says a little seems to if you don't attach feet, or don't use without attaching feet. Which, of course, this thing didn't come with that because, you know, those feet kind of suck and they break pretty easily. But anyway, yeah, this is the original box. It came with it's a 98. I originally thought it was a 97, but yeah, it's got the down there. If you can see, it's got has the what the speed selector and everything would look like. Fortunately, after I had this thing shipped up here and I started using it, I noticed that the speed selector thing, as I'll show you here on it, actually has kind of started to wear off, and it seems like that's a common thing because every once in a while when I do see one of these things on YouTube, some other fan collectors like to use them also. They've had them, and it seems like a lot of times it's a pretty common thing. These knobs are also kind of weird. They're really stiff. Yeah, here's the back of it, really stiff. And there's of course the side. And I don't know if there's a way really to fix that on there, but this one does have that thermostat. It's got the D blades or pedal blades, whatever the heck you want to call them, and they are, yeah, it has a 2.2 amp motor. It's also a marker. It does have the full size in there. But yeah, anyway, it's 2.2 amps. Doesn't quite sound like my other Marco motor box fan that I have. It's only got a 2.1 amp motor. It's a rebranded Galaxy from like '91, and it's got the full square cabinet, not any of the rounded edges. And I actually personally do like that one a little better because it's my first square cabinet box fan. But this one here is cool just because it's got the nice round logo in the middle, and these are pretty rare. They're not very common. I bought this from someone on eBay. I think they was in New Jersey. And yeah, I've never seen a single one of these up on the market since, but I do know that they do seem to be sought after. And I haven't seen anybody that's posted one of these things with its original box before, but now you kind of can see what it looks like, and it has the digital imaging on the front of it, and on the back of it, as I did show, but I can show you again, it's typical, just painted on. I wish I would have found out, too, where this thing was originally purchased. I've all of my fans that I've bought, I've never really known. It would have been nice to find out. I don't know if they sold these things at Walmart or not. I have absolutely no idea. But yeah, I don't really know. It's kind of interesting. They made these only for a couple of years. The second gens of these had the full-size marker motor as well, but they already had the pedal blades. And they had, it just said Lasko on the front. Ultra Force was only on the top of those. And I had when I was really little, one of my neighbors had one of those, I believe, the newer version of those, and I always kind of liked it. The older I've gotten, though, I'm not as huge of a fan of the more expensive box fans. I have a bunch of different box fans, but they're all pretty much the entry-level box fans of whatever time they were manufactured in. But anyway, why don't we go ahead and fire this thing up so you guys can see it. I was going to do a video of it. This was supposed to be in my box fan comparison video that I did, the first video on my channel, but my camera cut out, so yeah. So I'm now having to do it again. But anyway, I'll go ahead and turn it on, then we'll demonstrate the thermostat. Here is time. It does have a cool startup sound too. Turn it around so maybe you can hear the motor a little bit. They did already start covering the motors up on these ones. This one's not in the greatest shape either. It does have some dents. It's got some writing on it. It looks like there is a little rust on the top I've seen ones that were in way worse shape than this. It does make a weird rattling noise, or not rattling noise, the blades, it's like they're hitting something. I can't really figure out what it is. It's something heavy deep, and once in a while it kind of makes this noise. I guess I'll have to take it apart one day and figure that out. Here's medium. And yeah, I mean, these aren't really, it's got the, like, Venturi ring. They call it a wind ring. Wind ring technology, so it's not quite as cool as the Venturi, but it's got that rounded, grills. And believe it or not, that actually does blow pretty good air with those rounded grills. I wouldn't have totally believed it as much when I first bought this thing that it really made any difference, but it actually seems like it does for some weird reason. Here's low. It's quiet, even though it's got a little more powerful of a motor, it seems like it's quieter on low than it is on my other Galaxy, my 4713 from 91 or 92. But it's weird, it's got 2.2 amps instead of 2.1, but I guess it doesn't really seem to make much of a difference. How many amps the motor? Let's go ahead and turn it off using the thermostat. I'll show you what it looks like. So it does have a light, and the light does still work. And as you can hear, it kind of makes a weird noise. There's that light. Go ahead and turn it to high. Turning this baby back on. And then off. So here are my two Lakewood. One of them's a rebranded Kmart box fans. One of them's from 1988. The one on the left that's a 1988, I believe. The other one on the right is I'm thinking between 1983 and 1986. Kmart, which is also, it's a rebranded Lakewood. K223, second gen box fan. They are both in beige. I've demonstrated them both before, so again I might show off the motor and everything, but I'm not gonna do a formal demonstration on any of these because you can watch my earlier video. The one on the right also has a box with all of its original stuff, but again I've already videoed that, so if you want to see that you can go to my other video. It's some of my box fan collection. It was my very first video. But anyway, I like both of these fans. The one that, the Model 223 Lakewood on the left has some rust. The blades aren't completely balanced on it either. It definitely had some use over the years. The grill on the front has a crack at the top, but the back is basically in perfect shape. It's missing its feet, of course. The one on the right, the older one, has those plastic feet that attach, that are like either, I'm thinking they're probably just glued to the bottom with some really heavy-duty industrial glue. But it's, it's got a more powerful motor too. It's got a 2.4 amp motor. And the one that's on the left, a newer one, that late 80s Lakewood or 223, only has a 1.9 amp motor. But they're still both Macmillans. They're still both really good motors. They have oil ports. You can oil them. And the one that the K223 has a hole in the front blades, but I think it's really more for the motor to breathe. But I am still able to get in there and oil it without having to take the blades apart, because they're pretty hard to get off on that one as well. So it's nice that I don't really have to take them off. And I did over oil that one when I did finally oil it for the first time a little bit, because I could see there was some leakage at the bottom, but it doesn't really seem to be affecting the quality of the fan too much. It still runs great. So I'm not really making a big deal about it. Without further ado, I realized I forgot to show off the other two fans both on, so I'm thinking about just doing it the way I did that one and not shove these both on here at the same time either. This one here also does have its do not attach enclosed feet, which seemed like there was a lot of these from the 80s that had that, and into the 90s that no one ever took that sticker off, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, here's High. A little brutal, that one. The grills and everything I pick it up, it seems like it makes weird noises. Like the whole thing is just all really kind of stiff. Medium. One thing about this one too is, if you really look at anyone that's got one of these later 223s or a 3rd gen P223 or K223, the banana blades like that, you'll notice that they all, the blades go like right up against the grill, which is one thing that's a little weird about it that I don't particularly like, but there's low. And there you go, that nice, ultra quiet low that these fans are known to have. That is definitely quiet enough to where I can sleep peacefully without having to worry. Well, not worry, but you know, hear the noise. Doesn't really sound like anything. And off. It's also got a pretty nice spin up. That's the one thing about the 2nd gen. I don't know if it has something to do with those blades being super heavy or what on that thing, but it does not have that long of a spin down. Even once I've oiled it, the spin down, maybe I can try it from high and see if it makes a difference, but it seems like the 223 has a long spin down, even on low. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and start the Kmart on high. It's got a really cool startup sound. That seem like they rattle on it. Blowing my fan blades. Really fans they really. Medium. That's a nice sounding medium. Low. It's interesting that the fan runs in more power, but it definitely seems like it's got a quiet medium. Even more quiet. Dang. Even more quiet than the other one, but yet again it's got a more powerful motor, which is kind of interesting, but it's still able to run at a nice, really quiet speed. Let's go back to high. And off. Even though they're basically the same color and everything, the one thing I do notice on the K223 is the blades aren't as shiny. It's got more of a matte finish on it. I'll go ahead and turn them around so you can see the back, and I'll give a demonstration. Of the motors. Yeah, here we go. Ugh, there we go. Yeah, I think I might even zoom in on that a little bit, because that's still a little bit hard to see. As you can tell by looking at them both, though, they definitely both look almost exactly the same. It's just that if you look at the one on the left, the newer one, the motor housing and everything goes right back up to the grill, whereas the one on the older one is just kind of like, it has the same, almost exact same body size as the metal bladed box fans. In fact, I think it may even be the exact same size. And there is some space between the housing and the grill. I don't know if that makes much of a difference on the maintenance on one of these things or not. I also just noticed a key thing, that the motor shaft seems like it comes out the very back on the 223, whereas the K223, the shaft was covered up in the back. But they both are able to be oiled. They have oil ports. And they're both really good fans. It's just that there's a lot more space in the K223. Anyway, I'll give you guys a demonstration of the motors from the back. This one here is very shaky. You can definitely tell the blades are kind of imbalanced. Back on that one. So here is my 92 Galaxy 4713. So I've already kind of done a demonstration on this one before. I think I'm going to pick up my camera here and kind of get a little closer. I'll put it back in a second. Yeah, here is my Galaxy 4713, and that's the 3700. Here's the top. It's got one of those crappy handles. It's not even really snapped into anything. It could easily break off. I never even picked that one up by the handle. There's the top of that thing. As you can see, there it is. It's really starting to wear out. And like I said, I have shown that Galaxy before the back, so I'll turn it around so you can see it. But first, why don't we do a demonstration? I'm going to do them all. I'll do one on the Galaxy first, then I'll do one on the Lasko 3700, and then I'll do them both at the same time. Anyway, here's high for this one, the Galaxy. And yeah, as you can tell there, like I said, it's loud. It's louder than the... I think that this must be because of the grills. They muffle some of that sound. I don't know. That's the back of the motor. Here's medium. A lot of great white noise, I love it. And here's low. And I have slept with this one many different times, and it does that white noisy sound is actually very nice. It's quite nice. I do prefer my Macmillan Lakewoods, the K223 and the P223 more because they're just a lot quieter on low. There's almost no sound, and I kind of like that's one of the reasons why I like having my ceiling fan on, because I prefer it to be quieter in my room than louder. Some people kind of prefer that white noise, and I like that noisy sound too, but I still do prefer quiet. Here is off. This one here has a nice spin down. So as you can tell, it does. I don't think the other one does. A 98 3700 has the hole, but that one has a little hole, if you can see there. Might be kind of hard to see in the video. I could try zooming in on it. Yeah, on the bottom there's a little hole there. I think that 91 Galaxy is definitely a little bit better built, other than that total POS handle that they put in there that doesn't even snap into anything, and pick it up enough times the weight finally does make them break, and then you don't have a handle anymore unless you make one or find a way to put it back in. Fix it, But other than that, that thing I think is definitely a lot better built. It's also was like new when I got it, so it doesn't have. Besides the fact that it's also missing its feet, it doesn't really have anything. There was a couple scratches on it, especially on the bottom, but besides that, there really isn't anything wrong with that fan. The other one, like I said, it's got some bangs and it's not definitely not in perfect shape. It's got some writing on it. The Ultra Force. But anyway, let's go ahead and turn on the Ultra Force. Use high for the Ultra Force. And I'm not going to do the thermostat this time. It's like a little muffled, but blows a great amount of air. There's low. That one already has the 3-2-1 instead of the high, medium, low. Also, the earlier ones for the Laskos, they still said high, medium, low. I don't know why they switched it to 3-2-1. I don't really care. That doesn't bother me that much. I'm just saying that it's interesting. Now it's going off. And you hear all that rattling it makes, it's a little weird. Don't really know why, but yeah, it's definitely not quite as well built. Though that one you can tell just by some of the parts and stuff on it that it seems like they definitely made it started making them a little cheaper by '98 than what they were making in '91. And it's funny, the '91s they were still cheap, but they lasted a long time. Even the ones that were in not the greatest condition. Those Ultra Force, they weren't very common, and a lot of people just never really took care of them because they were, cheap, and it's like they were, I think they really were starting to make certain parts of those in China. The motors were still American made, which is a big important thing, but the Marco motors, apparently what I've heard, they weren't the greatest motors. So they did burn out more than the Macmillans on the Lakewoods, but they're still way better than the crappy PSC induction motors that they put in the new box fans. Anyway, thank you guys for watching my video, and please subscribe to my channel if you want to.